Let's go. It's the Whitey Show. Whitey Show. Whitey Show. Whitey Show. Whitey Show.
Water breathing! Keep moving forward. Stay sharp. Give it everything you've got. You can do it! Transform! Constant flux!
Alright, so as a huge fan of the anime series and manga series, I was really excited to try out the new Demon Slayer video game. It's made by CyberConnect, the guys behind those Naruto Storm games, and those are pretty damn good, even though I'm not a huge fan of Naruto. I did really enjoy those games. So this one, when they first showed the footage and stuff, I was like, oh, that's this basically, but Demon Slayer. And you know what? I was okay with that, because anime games are notoriously known to be kind of shitty and rushed. So if this is polished and fun, I was excited to try this game out.
Water breathing. Ninth form. Splashing water for turbulence. Train until it kills you. Because really, when you get down to it, there's nothing else you can do. Farewell.
So the story follows really close to the anime or manga. Scenes are lifted directly from them, and you know, CyberConnect kind of has their own style, like even more flashy sometimes in the anime and the way they do their fight scenes and stuff. But it's basically just a retelling, and it actually feels a little bit more natural than the Naruto Storm games. I really enjoyed the voice acting as well. I'm not sure if they had to redub or just use some of the dub, but I watched the show in dub and then I switched over to Japanese, and I also enjoyed that. I thought it was handled really well. I'm not sure if they took the lines from the show or they actually redid the lines, but it all sounded pretty good. And then I have to say, though, some of the scenes when there's not action going on, they feel a little stiff or kind of just dull in a way. And so that was kind of a drag, because basically you could just watch the anime and it looks a lot better. So that kind of sucked. But when the action was going on, it really shined. And the story itself is presented well enough that if you've never seen the show, you will definitely get what's going on, because they take the time to really tell you about the characters and learn about them. So the gameplay is split into two major parts. Let's talk about the first one, the major one, the combat, which is actually really solid. If you ever played the Naruto Storm games, this is very similar. Some people are making jokes that's copy and paste, and in some ways it kind of does feel like that. It's more of an arena fighter, like kind of like a big 3D escape, and you can go around doing cool moves, but it is a fighter. So being able to pull off these awesome moves like the water breathing techniques from the show is a lot of fun. And the fact that you get like support characters in the fight, so you can like summon Nezuko and stuff to help you fight, it looks great, and you'll see a bunch of effects going on at once. So it really adds to the suspense in the battle. And the finishers, as always, man, CyberConnect really nails it. Finishers look absolutely splendid, ripped straight from the show. And then you have these cinematic finishers in the story mode, which is a nice touch to make battles even more fun. They kind of redo the scene from the show in their own style. I really like that. So I would say the only negative for the combat was some of the movements feel a little bit stiff at times for certain characters. But then I learned it's really each character is going to feel a little bit different, and you got to get used to each one. So then I started really learning that. So once you got used to the battle system, I thought itself was really solid and fun.
でもな、空中ではこの攻撃をかわせない。弾かれた。
全集中。水の呼吸。
大丈夫だ。俺の首は硬い。こいつは切れない。
一の型。
Now, the second half of the gameplay is walking. Yeah, walking. That's right. You heard me correct. Walking. Okay, seriously though, walking through forests or towns in this game and talking to basically lifeless people or collecting very dull things, it's just a bore. and it's the best way I could put it, it is a bore. I couldn't understand why they didn't add more interactive things to the areas, or at least make the characters move quicker, so it wasn't such a bore to get from walking to a fight. But yeah, it wouldn't be an issue if it wasn't about 35 to 40% of the gameplay. You have to do a lot of walking through towns that might look pretty, but they're not fun to interact with. So what's the point? But talking about looking pretty, I do want to just mention that the graphics are pretty great, especially in combat. They just flow. It looks great. The effects of all the attacks look cool. And of course, the finishing cinematics, wonderfully animated. So I really have to say the graphics are great. And the core gameplay, the fighting gameplay, is really solid and fun. But a large part of this game is walking, and it's the only way to unlock, or only sensible way to unlock a lot of the characters, is to go through the story mode. And like I said, the walking is so bad. It reminds me of like a game where they had to put filler just to stretch it out, which is usually what anime games do. But in this, they did it so much to the fact that I was literally bored. I had to put on like a podcast and listen to stuff just to play this game because the fights were fun. But of course, it was like the fights were 2 minutes and the walking was 5 minutes. The fights were 2 minutes, the walking was 8 minutes. I was like, what the fuck? So yeah, not a fan of the other half of this gameplay. But overall, it's no Budokai 3 or Tenkaichi 3 or any of those type of games. It's just not at that level. But it is the first in the series, which I assume there's going to be many because Demon Slayer is one of the most popular animes of all time. And it has its moments, but it definitely feels like the bare bones, like the first one, and they were kind of experimented, and I'm sure the next one they're just going to take out the walking or make it more interesting. I think it would be a really fun adventure game, this style, and if they did more like that, and made the world more fun, this could have been something special. But of course, you would have probably needed another year or two. So we can't do that because we got to spit them out quick and make money. You know how it goes. So yeah, I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. I think it's a solid, fun game for fans of the show, like myself or the manga. But I think anyone who's not really interested in this probably won't find much fun, or the show, I mean, not much interested in the show, probably won't find much fun in this. I can't really give it higher than a 6 out of 10. But I hope the next ones improve and we do eventually get a Ninja Storm 3 or Budokai 3 or Tenkaichi 3, where I absolutely think they're fun games for the fans, but also other people alike. But this one I just can't give higher than a 6 out of 10. It's just a little better than decent, but not anything more than that.
雷の呼吸一の型霹靂一閃